In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debately warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. In the ring we stand tall, words of blades that never fall, debate like warriors brave. Every thought we give and save. Through the noise we cut clean, spirited mind sharp and keen. With a spark that lights the night, join us in this epic fight. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by law. Dive in deep in the search for more. From heartfelt talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome talks to fierce debates, we explore what fate creates. Side by side we seek the light. In the dark our minds ignite. Welcome to the Spartan arena, where minds clash and thoughts clean. In the heat of every word, truth and insight will be heard. Buckle up and take your stance. In this arena, there's no chance to escape the fight by law. Dive in deep in the search for more.
Welcome once again. Good evening, everybody. Another Wednesday, halfway through another week. It's time for a new episode. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. Let me know if my mic is coming up pretty clear. Good. No static whatsoever. Is everything fine? Let me introduce you guys. Welcome to the Sparta HQ Network, the collaboration with CBN Tech Talk. And this show we're having tonight is called Anime Unlock. How you guys doing? Hey, Eric, what's going on with you? How you doing so far this week? Let's see. We got Eric in here today. We got Marcus. Wow, he's early today. Thank you for the introduction. Wait a little further for my co-host to show up. He's already up here. So today we have another episode for this anime series we've been doing so far. We talk about anime on this network on every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'll do like a few minutes for everybody trying to come in, get yourself relaxed, get your drinks. I know we get a little kind of, I can't say rowdy, but we can get brutal. You be looking for this one, Neo Genesis? I watched it a few times, and I'm not gonna lie. It was a tough anime to watch for a mecha, for that matter. Of all anime you should be talking about for mecha, this one right here is the pop culture classic. Nonetheless, either you like it or you hate it. It was something about that anime that's yeah, ain't gonna fun. The kid, it was never good to watch it at night because some of the scenes, it got me thinking like, whoa, mm, this is legit. So how's everybody doing so far? How's your week? How are you coping so far? I know you're halfway through the week. This is Wednesday. Another week in April. I believe we're in the second week, I believe. Second, third week in between. There's a lot of anime we got a lot to talk about. But I'm waiting for my partner, my co-host. Kind of late. I wonder, what do you guys think about this particular topic? Genesis Evangelion. I believe there was a couple of reboots who were done concerning this anime. Pop culture, great anime. It's even funny. Here's a joke, I don't think anybody knows that about it. If you are a PT kind of guy like I am, right? And you like to have a customized PT, Acer did a promotion, I think like a year or two ago, whereby you can get the motherboard, if I remember correctly, the case, the all-in-one cooler, the AIO, the video card, the monitor, keyboard, and if I'm correct, mouse, and the Neo Genesis Evangelion design. It was a promotion, I'm not sure it was last year or the year before that. AT was doing a promotion to celebrate the anniversary of Neo Genesis Evangelion. It was a cool promotion because there was a few anime they promoted their products. Neo Genesis Evangelion was one of it, and Mobile Suit Gundam with the other promotion they did. Now I'm telling you, the case itself, if I remember correct, the color was kind of like red with some I forgot what it was red, yellow, something, but it's big. The motherboard was cool. The AI was cool. The video card was cool, but yo, it wasn't cheap with the collector. Oh yeah, even the power supply to go to match. So it would collect all. If you were able to get all of them, I mean, you had to get the case, right? You had to get the motherboard that came along with it. You had to get the AIO, got the all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU. You had to get the video card that matched with it. You had to get the power supply, right? When you build that one out, it had that unique look. Then, mind you, you're not gonna believe it. The monitor, it had the monitor with the Neo Genesis design that go along with it. The keyboard, the mouse, and the headset, if I remember correctly. So when you had the whole setup, imagine you have like a Neo Genesis everything like theme look with your custom PT built. That would have been cool. Now, yes, Marcus, I am a Guyver fan. We will talk about that anime. Oh, don't worry about it. We will talk about that anime. I'm glad you brought that one up. We will talk about that anime soon enough. But to me, I was hating because Asus, you have Asus, MSI, and Gigabyte. Three of the big name in PC part. They build you no, they make great cases, they make great motherboards, video cards. Some come with a great AIO, with the all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU, the power supply. The fact that it did that thing for Neo Genesis, it was cool. Real cool. I'm not gonna lie. So I get a shout out to Asus for doing that. I hope one day you sponsor some of our shows. That would have been great. Now, knowing that it was a pipe icon, or some people got the model, can't call it Gunpla because it's not under the Mobile 2 Gunnica, but they got the mecha models. If I remember correctly, there was like, I think there were 3 or 4 of those models. Different color thing, different model, whatever it might be. That might be the case. I wonder, did any of you guys have collectibles for a Neo Genesis Evangelion? Because I know they had some die-hard fan and they go hard. And I'm sure when they heard about the Eights were doing that promotion, where you buy some of the pizza part that is designed according to Neo Genesis, I'm sure people went for that thing heavy. You believe the total cost of that thing, total package, was about 3,500. No, 3,400 or 4,000. That was the total cost for everything if you would have purchased it yourself. Now it wasn't 3,000. It's almost around 5,000. I remember because for one, the monitor was not cheap. Right off the bat, if you would buy a Asus gaming monitor, it goes for at least average. Let's say minimum average $600 to $900, depending on the set. Oh, you got the nerve coffee mug? Now you bugging. Yo, Eric had the nerve coffee mug. That's for the collectible. That by far the collectible for sure. Cannot be surprised about that. Because I know a couple of people who posted their PT build online and they showed they had the complete Acer collectible from the monitor to the keyboard to the mouse to the headset and had the PT built out. I was like, shit. Now you got the mug. Imagine you have the mug right next to the PT builds and you got the chair to go along with it. I would say you're overkill. For real. Now, while we are waiting, we're about how many minutes in? 12 minutes in already? Where's Wally? You know what? I think it's my fault. Blame me for that one. I just realized something. I mean, I forgot to give the invitation to Wally about that. Sorry, Wally, if I didn't. Imagine me telling me where's Wally, and I realized, oh, I didn't send him the items. See me. That is my fault. I'm doing so much stuff today. I hope. Let me put it here. Hey Wally, if you're in the chat room, please click on the link and jump in. I apologize for that. My bad. Not only for one person to come up here. It's really 12 minutes. Here's another thing. I want to give a heads up, fam. But it would be cool to have a female point of view about certain anime we talk about it because I know we can be kind of brutal. No, fam. Yeah, we are kind of brutal. Wait, hold up. I missed that. You get the P2 keychain? You know what? Simple as this. I'm hating on anybody who come up here bragging about their collectible for their favorite anime. I don't have one. I don't have not one of them yet. It sucks. Collection. My son had 2 Mobile 2 Gundam Gunpla. I don't know if that count, but I don't know if that counts or not. But hey, let me know. He got 2 Mobile 2 Gundam, but that's not under me. It's under him. What else? Think. I don't got no collectibles. Then I got a Naruto T-shirt. I got Kakashi Tensei. teacher. I don't know that way much of a collective. I need to build up on that one. I'm doing bad. Imagine that. I'm running an anime show. I don't got much of it. Well, I got an anime T-shirt. This is anime. I got my Kakashi Ten. I need to get more anime T-shirt. I can't be doing an anime show and not have anything wearing anime. So I need to start working on that. That fall on me. No one called me out since I've been doing this show for a while. So like, whew, that's a good thing for now. Right? No, I wonder where's Wally at. Like, serious Marcus, if you know where Wally can just. Oh, I see Wally now. Hey, Wally.
What's going on? Yeah, the link wasn't sent, so I was sort of waiting a little bit.
I thought you were stripping. I thought you were stripping the chat and chew me out or something.
Nah, nah. I just resided
No.
back in.
I have a unique question. You think they will ever make a live action Street Fighter or Tekken or DBZ that give it justice? Now, I'll be straight up with you, Marcus. They did a live action version of Street Fighter. John Clown Van Damme was in that movie. Bison looked like he was on a major diet or he was suffering from cancer. Pun intended. DBZ. Oh Lord. Oh boy. That live action was a pure disaster. I'm glad we're not gonna talk about it heavy tonight. I know Wally would have gone in, totally speaking. He would have went in for the murder.
What
As
are you
for
talking about?
Tekken, live action.
Amongst
Tekken,
which one?
he said, will you think they will ever make a live action Street Fighter or Tekken or DBZ movie? Now, Tekken, they did a live action version of that one too. The Tekken, well, mixed review. Uh, I'm gonna leave it like that. Mixed review. I'm gonna tell you that. So what's going on, Wally? How was your week?
Pretty usual as always. I mean, thanks for everybody for tuning on in as always. But yeah,
Okay. Hold on. I need to. There we go.
it was better the other way, but okay.
It's better this way?
No, the other one, because at least we're not in the way of it.
Ah, okay, 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 cool, cool, cool. This makes sense. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna talk about this topic because I was telling these guys about how Asus, the brand that make the PTK, the motherboard, or the PT part, they did the promotion. I think it was a year or two ago, whereby you can have the whole PT part put together and have a custom made PT with a new better leader. I was mad. I went for they had a campaign, they had a promotion, they were doing a small giveaway. I did the whole thing. I didn't win nothing. I was like, man, that sucks. I didn't win no case. I didn't win no AIO, no motherboard, no video card. I mean, the power supply, not even the monitor. That would have been cool. You get none of that. Not even the keyboard, the mouse, but and the headphone. But like, whatever. You got to give it a deduction. Neo Genesis Evangelion is a groundbreaking Japanese anime created by Hideaki Anno and produced by Gainax, airing from 1995, 1996. That was the 90s. This manga, I mean, this not manga. It's a manga. It started from a manga to an anime, but this one was not only iconic, but it was crazy. It blended mecha, political drama, religious symbolism, and existential philosophy into a singular genre-defining experience. I won't call it experience. I'll call it a shock jock experience, if you ask me. Am I wrong, Wally?
Mm,
Did you watch it back then?
No, I actually had some time to watch some of it today to re up on it. My only thing with it is, and maybe because I haven't seen the whole thing yet to see some of the parts, but like the religious and religious symbols parts, I haven't really seen too much of those. But I'm guessing because I'm at the early extents. So,
But here's the
but
thing:
everything else, go
the
ahead.
three main characters to me, with the boy you see in the front, the girl, she had her own mech. This
Yeah, I know
one,
that.
the guy was punting this purple version of it. She had a red one, and I believe there was a white one. If I might be wrong.
No, there was the purple one right here in this main visual.
Hmm.
There was the orange one, and then there's the red one.
Oh, okay, yeah, she got the orange. My bad.
Yeah, yeah. The second one is the one the blue hair got the orange one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but overall, okay.
we're about no mech. It was just that every imagine this though, of every anime that been out there that have a mech, this anime, the mech cannot go too far. It had to stay as long the cable was connected at the back. Once the cable at the back got disconnected, there's a limit to how much it can run on its own. So I was kind of like, don't you want to make sure it can run on its own for a long period of time by having the cable connected at the back or it can what? That's like a disadvantage, don't you think?
Uh maybe, but when you look at a lot of the other mechs that they had to face, a lot of them neither had to be close quarter or neither like for their defensive abilities and all that. Some of them were really close. So I don't think so that was really the case. It's like you choose a battle zone and then there it is. It's not
Hold
like
on,
they
hold
really
on,
went that far in distance.
hold on, hold on. No. We're not gonna do it that way. We're not gonna do it that way.
No, no, no. Exactly. I said what exactly I said.
Uh, if anybody who have watched a ton of mecha anime, it kind of stands out for this particular iconic mecha. It had to operate within zone area by quote unquote where the base is located underground. One, they had the core was not so massive, you, but it was connected in the back. We keep putting a power, whatever you need inside that mech, right?
Okay.
Issue is the way they had to fight. Can't let these aliens disconnect them for that particular mech. Yeah, it was a biomechanical mech or the Evangelion, the EVAS.
Okay.
See, thank you. Sometimes they do, and when they do, bad things happen. Correct, Eric? You know exactly what I'm talking. I think you want to do. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, don't you
Even
think
then, though, but it's like, but you're saying like them having the wire is quote unquote a disadvantage.
if I was a smart ass alien, if I see all my comrades getting their ass whooped, and I notice they always trying to make sure you don't go behind the back and disconnect. What I would do, I would have them set them up like a booby trap. Make that mech go a little further. Then when you come behind and cut that thing off, like, okay, I'm gonna push you far away and see how far you'll last without a disconnect on your back. Like, come on.
Okay, but you do also know, right? This is why I laugh a little bit because those alien mechs were also on the same frequency, even though on a different visual scale, but they were on the same frequency as a pilot and the mech itself.
True.
So again, that also tells you right then and there they're not as smart as the humans that are piloting the mech themselves. So
Yeah, I give you
miss
that. I give
me.
you that. I give you that. I give you that. I was about to go in that. I was trying to be justified, but yeah, I give you that. Yeah.
You try to cut right through. It's like, yeah, this is the one mech. This is the one mech, ladies and gentlemen. There's not no full control. Yes, there has to be a battery pack to keep it in line, quote unquote.
Compared to
But
Mobile
even
Suit
then,
Gundam and all the other mech out there that you watch, they don't need a.
like look at the first episode. The very first episode, the mech moved without with still being plugged or tied up. Like literally, the mech moved by itself without no one piloting and nothing. So I don't think the mech is that stupid. But again, there's limitations. But limitations for all the good reasons.
I hear you. It was a confusing anime to me. I was like,
I didn't pay no mind because it's like when you notice it on the ground scale of it all. Yes, do you see the wire? Yes, you do. But ultimately, for most of it, you really don't notice it when they really start fighting. It's really
True.
just gone.
True. Plot summary premises. In the year 2015, imagine 2015. What happened in our own 2015? Not much of this couldn't happen. 15 years after the catalyst known as the second impact, Earth is under attack by material being called angels. Really? The wrong word to be using. A secretive organization named Nerves used biomechanical mech called Evangelion, EVAs, to combat them. Why would you call alien being angel of all things? That was my pet peeve because when you have that in your head, angel. You look at that's what the angel look like. That don't look like a damn angel. You need to get a better name for that, right? Am I wrong, Wally?
I think I think they call them angels. The only reason I think they only call them angels because they're pretty much invulnerable to normal tech that they had on ground for, aka missiles, anything else you can throw at them, other than facing them their exact self, which is a mech itself. Two, honestly, they're pretty much quote unquote from the great above, aka space. So technically, you would call them aliens because you don't know their life forms, but they're pretty much robots. So I don't know. It's something like that to that establishment. So,
True.
and then
Everything dropping.
oh, go ahead.
No, you're right, but everyone dropping some spoiler. The evil
Evas
are
are
beefy
bestial.
and frightening when they go freak. Yeah.
Well, that's the
That what
clarity
threw
that
me
everyone
off.
needs.
That what threw me. It was like I said, oh, okay, God,
But remember,
I
they're
know
only bestials. They're only bestials by the brainwave compatibility of the pilot. They
bingo.
only ratio off of that. So again, it's like where's the mental mind state of the person that's piloting the actual thing. So that's another thing.
But guess what? Get the age of the pilot. 14. You were teenagers. Shinji Ikari, the reluctant 14-year-old protagonist. Something about his estranged father, the pilot of the EVA Unit 01. Teenagers, mind you. So you tell me that you need children soldier to save the world?
Not just any children soldier, his son.
Yeah, he picked his sons. That means his dad was doing all type of weird experiment on his son without his son even realizing it.
Oh no, I think he realized it towards the beginning because let's be honest. Remember, he pretty much had to travel there. That's one. So that
True.
means you were pretty much scapegoated in another section of the world away from your father's shenanigans. That's
True.
one thing. Two,
The father.
you pretty much live without a mother and father in your life.
Oh, goddamn. Trauma.
So
And his
yeah,
father, named as Gendo Ikari, had Shinji father a cold, calculating leader of nerve. This is that training code put it a ice cold and calculated. Because I do way more than cold. No offense. That's a poster child. That's the poster child of not to be this kind of father. Don't you think?
the funny thing is, he wasn't really that cold. I mean, people fail to realize. Okay, well, remember this. Remember the first few episodes in the anime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, when Ray or Ria, or Ray, I think they call it Ray. Right. When Ray was
Ray.
in the pilot of the orange ship of the orange unit 00, right?
Mhm.
He literally went down there and popped open that thing and tried to save her, make sure she was okay. But why? Because who is Ria? Who is Ray? Who is really Ray? Right? It's a replica of his wife. He ain't that cold.
I forgot about that part.
Ray is a replica visual of
a funny thing.
Shinji's mother.
Well, why was her last name named at Ayanami? Why couldn't it be Ikari?
I think that's because to not make things obvious.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm just being an ass.
No, but I mean, let's be honest. We all know why, but I mean, yeah, but just to
Yeah,
avoid the
no,
obvious.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you. I haven't watched that in years. I remember like we were getting, but that thing. I remember that part. He did jump in there,
Yeah,
and I think I
yeah.
overlooked the
So
part that was
he ain't that extremely cold.
way with a
He's
clone.
cold, but he ain't that
Correction.
cold.
Way with a clone of his wife.
Right.
The fact that he made a clone of his wife around the same age group of his own son. I don't know what to tell you.
And then if you
And the other
remember the
pilot was,
relationship between them two building is like,
but here's the thing, they put to be she's Russian because this Asuka language so the very German Japanese. Okay, she's mixed.
he's the one that piloted the other machinery.
Yeah, the Eva pilot Unit 02. So that means either her father was German, mom was Japanese. Oh no,
Perpetual
man.
Winer
Those
comparison to his old
Eva
man.
was scary as hell. I ain't gonna lie. When they go berserk, they they were giving an ass whooping.
I mean, of course, he
Real
was
bad.
Perpetual Whiner. He never grew up with no one. You can't teach strength out of thin air.
True. Now, Misato Katsuagi, that's Shinji Guardian and Nerve Operative Director. There is Wisoku Akagi, head scientist of the Nerve with deep connection with the EVA project. Kaworu Nagisa, the final child whose true identity is tied to the angel. This character, I'm trying to remember what that connection was. I'm gonna have to watch that anime again. I did watch a lot of it throughout when it came out in the 90s. I think it was on Cartoon Network. Yeah, they had it on Cartoon Network,
They should have.
if I'm correct. Am I?
They should have had it on there. Well, yeah, they should have had it on Toonami. They should have.
Yeah, Toonami. It had to be. During that 90s, man, there's a lot of anime that came out at that time. It was a lot. But when they just showed it at night, man, it was rubbing me. I was feeling kind of like, oh, you like Misato? Hold up. Let me go back. You like the Guardian? Oh, okay. And Misato the girl with the blonde? Am I correct? Or is it her right here? I don't remember who was Misato.
Wait, who was like read the Masato character again? Read the Masato character.
Misato Katsuagi. She was the Guardian. And then
Oh, that's the one with the blue hair. That's the one with the blue hair.
I tell you, that was I remember because it was one. Yeah.
Yeah, because the blonde hair's the scientist.
Yeah, she get that kind of like that cold look, like I don't give an F. You getting this work done, and you can see. Oh, sorry, wrong. Misato have a fan base. Hey, Mariana, how you doing? So it's okay, you're late. Don't worry about it. No, there's a lot of major. There's a few major. Hello, you know. Remember I told you every anime that the fan base is based on its character. Now.
So Eric, so what you're trying to tell me is you like feisty chicks, okay? Now I see where your ladies lie.
I'm not saying anything on that one. I plead the fifth.
Yeah, you played the fifth. Yeah.
I ain't thinking much on that one. I'll leave that one alone. I'll leave that to Vegeta and Goku. Hello.
Oh, okay. So you still gonna write this, but like, I don't care. It fits their profile anyways. Like, what world we live in? Because that's nothing against them. Because guess what? No, you know what that tells me? Yes, they do marry strong, feisty chicks. Why? Because at the end of the damn day, there's one thing you can sit here and say about Bulma and about Yamcha at the end of, Bulma and about Chi-Chi. They never they barely let no man touch them. in the wrong way. Ultimately.
No, correction. You might die trying to touch Chichi will cook.
Well, that's my whole point. So again, them being feisty, like what most of us are guys, right? We don't like our women to be that friendly, quote unquote. Hey,
Yo, Chichi with no
Dragon Ball
weakling.
Z show the blueprint,
No,
goddammit. Y'all
Chichi
ladies need
with
to
no
step up.
weakling. I'll tell you that one. She with no weakling. She will, if she have to put on no boots, she get some ass whooping. And Boomer will be like, there, instigate it. Go, Chichi. I'm like, you know you can't fight, but you know how to instigate. Boomer was the ultimate instigator if you think about it. Always, she's slick with it. Chi Chi, all you gotta do is trigger her, and she's beyond a loose cannon.
Yeah. So real quick,
Real fact.
yes, it was. So yeah, it was premiered on Toonami amongst the
That was
Giant
right.
Robot Week in the 03.
Mm.
But remember this, ladies and gentlemen, this was heavily edited back in the time frames because
Oh
of
yeah, it was because
certain
there
things.
was the American version of it. I never got to watch the Japanese version because I heard the Japanese version. It was. I can see why they edited it. This is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You watch Japanese anime of the olds, especially this one, Genesis Evangelion. If you want to see the uncensored, I might give you a few names, or I think we might have to edit the video, no, edit the on the YouTube to put the links where you can find some of these animes. If you can find them, I will look them up myself. And I will tell the editors we can add the name, so in case you want to watch this particular anime on the website. I need to look for it myself, the uncensored, because I heard it was that bad. So, for example, on the major arc, the arrival of the angels, Shinji was forced to pilot Unit 01 despite his trauma. Remember that I say? Eventually are revealed to be more than just machines. They contain human soul and exhibit mystery, almost divine properties. And I think it's safe to say one of these series from Mobile Gundam took that idea and ran with it.
And funny enough, you say it because it literally is a copy version of that, but slightly different. Because
Hmm.
with mobile, with the Gundam suit, I forgot which one particularly, which one it's a copy of. But when you
That
think
be
about it,
Iron Rose.
okay. So when you think about this one, right? Because I know like the functionality of like the movement. Because like think about this, right? You remember like the way how the movement of the Gundam and how you like it's like you and the Gundam are sync. I remember there was one particular in that one. I think
Yeah,
you're talking
that'd be
about.
the term we call if you are a new type pilot or you're a new
Okay,
type
so pretty
coordinator.
much. All
When
right,
you're a
so
new
yeah,
type
so they
coordinator,
sort of took.
you're linked by a psychic. That's what
Right.
it
So
was.
pretty much it's the same thing because he was experiencing a whole lot of stuff in here. Like if you remember, like if you end up watching, I think by the third or fourth episode, there's a moment where the unit gets its head like injured and it slowly like reforms back like it's showing like an actual eye, like a proper visual eye.
Hmm.
So that right there letting you know, like, yeah, there is technically a human soul. And plus, like I said, even in the first episode where the arm magically just stretched out and there was no pilot inside the dang machine, and the arm just reached out because, Shinji just called for help in defense because of some things were falling off of with inside the building. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, thanks to the father, like I said, he was doing some weirdest thing. Make sure that first unit was linked to his son. So he did something behind closed doors to make sure when Shinji was in a bad situation, the EVA 01 unit will react to that. The other more awkward is the human drama. This shows shift from mecha action to deeply introspective character studies. theme of depression, loneliness, identity are explored, especially through Shinji, Asuka, and Rare. I'll be honest, it was one of the first anime. It was going in depth in a character mentality. It put a microscope on that. It's why I say anime is by far very unique and different from cartoon. That's why people need to understand something about anime and cartoon. You cannot make that statement that cartoon and anime are the same. It is not. It's not a level of in-depth characteristic in cartoon that is matching that on the anime side of things.
Well, this is where I'm
Maybe
gonna
to a
have
degree,
to.
maybe to a
Where I'm gonna
degree
have to
on Batman, the Batman animated series. There's a degree you can say there is, but we said it
well, again,
before.
Batman, I don't call it cartoon, so no,
Bingo. You had that discussion before. You cannot call it
right.
cartoon. That's a whole different genre.
I don't call
All
that a
itself.
cartoon. But even then, like just like as far as cartoons, I mean, look,
Hmm.
do they have introspective character studies? I mean, technically they do. But again, the thing is with cartoons is because they're not it's not the mainstead. Like you'll find people that'll tell you, oh, if you watch this cartoon back in the like you watched this cartoon back in the day, it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. Hey, did you know that they were actually pushing this? Wait, what? Yeah, this character was really a fantasy of this person's mind frame. But that's the thing. In the forefront, you wouldn't know that they're actually giving you an introspective of a character study amongst these characters until like later on, or if you do like further digging of understanding these characters and why they were the way they were.
Hmm.
So it's not it's not pushed to the forefront, it's pushed in the back. So by the time you recognize it, it's like, oh, okay, you have to be older. It's like, okay, well, it sort of
It
changes.
was it was, it was done on purpose, though. If you think about it,
I mean, it always is.
you know how to do it. But when it comes to anime, building the character out, what made it so you. Let's be real. A lot of these anime characters were so iconic for what it does. You get drawn to it for what it is. Let's be real. Let's be honest. On with the sidetrack. Which anime that you can say had the biggest fan base targeted on certain characters that people will fight over them big time? Which anime had the biggest fan base based on individual characters?
I mean, we look at the ones that we review already.
I know you
Dragon
say
Ball Z,
Dragon Ball.
obvious.
Dragon Ball would fall into that category.
Because if you just look at
Naruto.
Vegeta's character alone in Dragon Ball was a perfect understanding of, yeah, I have a lot of ego and a lot of pride, but under it all, I'm still a wimp in a sense. Like I still have a good heart. You know what I'm saying? It's just coerced because of different visuals of my livelihood.
Hmm. And there's
And you know what?
Naruto
That makes them stronger.
to fall in that category too, because Naruto, I hate to say it, Naruto have way too many characters. But the level of fan base it generated, no, we had the Naruto fan base, we had the Sake fan base, we had the Sakura fan base,
Gara,
Gaara
Kidama?
fan, the Rock Lee, man, the
Oh yeah,
Rock Lee
Rocky,
fan
that
base.
was a classic story right there. For all you injured soldiers,
Almost every character, I can't say all the main, almost every main character in Naruto had his own unique fan base.
oh
That's
yeah,
how
no,
serious it
like
was.
almost all the characters off of the first season, like literally off of the first season, your Nejis, your most of the
What?
ones that had a traumatic storylines, those are the ones that really were cared for.
Bingo. And if you go to the Comic Con when that anime was out, you can tell who was the unique fan base. They were like, yo, I'm cosplaying like this one. You see everybody with the Rock Lee, like, yo, that's my dude. That represents us. All hard work, all pay off. I was like, damn. But yeah,
I mean,
Dragon Ball, we had Naruto. What other anime I can say that had a huge fan base on individual character? I'm trying to think of one off my head.
uh, as far as characters with introspectives,
Damn.
I mean, well, no, can't
There was
say
one more. I need to remember. Come on, guys,
Lisa.
ladies and gentlemen, you in the chat room.
If you actually think about it, introspective, Inuyasha. Inuyasha was ineffective.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yes,
I
and
forgot about
very
that part.
ineffective. The battle between humans and your human side and your demon side, aka your good and bads, it's like it's the biggest introspective of it all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this episode, after this show is over, if you Lipin, Eric was
Ah,
right. Eric was right. That's
I mean,
another
I
one.
don't know. Because Lupin is like he's a smooth operator when it comes to thieving. It's just within him. So I don't
And
see that.
I know I got a
I
chance to
mean, I
watch
get all
this
the pain.
anime, but I need to watch it because sooner or later we
What?
start
Oh, you
talking
ain't
about it.
watching no Lupin?
I
You
haven't.
gotta watch Lupin. You got to watch Lupin.
See? Imagine this
You
though,
gotta
ladies and
watch
gentlemen.
Lupin.
Imagine this though. There are some anime I have watched while they haven't watched. And there's some anime while they have watched, I haven't watched. This is what I like about this show. There are so many iconic anime to look through, to watch
You
and
gotta
enjoy.
watch Lupin. Because it's so
This is
because it's funny because Lupin it's so simple, but yeah, it's so creative at the same time as a TV series. So it's just very
mhm.
interesting.
So this is what I'm trying to point out.
What else is
The
there?
greatest thing about anime, they're so deliberate on building proper character for their content. Because the character have a way of reaching to the audience. And you will know which character has an impact because when you go to the Comic Con or any of these cosplay shows, you start to see them in huge numbers. They don't play. They just don't play. And that was the real factor. But that make anime so unique for what it is. It's not like cartoon. Cartoon, but anime, oh, relatability. It's a big deal. Always have been a big deal. You can never argue that. We may have a show about it. Talk about which are your favorite anime that have the best fan base behind that. Next one, major arc, is the truth reveal. The Evangelion are part human, part angel. Nerve is the puppet of steel, a secretive organization seeking to force human evolution through the Human Instrumentally Project. Really? A plan to merge all human souls into one collective being, eliminating pain and loneliness. What does that sound like to you?
In the fuckery?
This plot right here, the truth reveal arc.
That is insanity.
I'll read it again. The Evangelions are part human, part angel. Nerve is the puppet of steel, a secretive organization seeking to force human evolution through the Human Instrumentally Project, a plan to merge all human souls into one collective being, eliminating pain and loneliness.
Yeah, see, see
Now,
when I think of and
I'm thinking about a couple of organizations that do all type of weird human project. For example, the United States military.
what you talking about this shit too?
How much testing have they done on human body without even letting you know they're doing testing on you? All I mean, my cousin about to retire for the Navy. He said he has taken so much injection throughout his career. You don't know what it's meant to be, what it's meant for. I like,
I mean, shoot, that's pretty much what we're going through right now on a regular basis. Oh, you got to go get your flu shot. You got to go get this. You got to go get that shot. Well, next thing you know, when they check your blood the next freaking time frame, oh yeah, well, we're gonna throw this away. Psych, they're not really gonna throw it away. They're really
and they do
have
why
a
a lot of
prescription.
people don't. They do a lot of people don't trust the United States medical system because this COVID thing. How people think about, you know what? This is man-made setup. They was done on purpose. We don't trust you guys anymore.
I mean, every 4 years with new or same president, we always have a new freaking quote unquote disease. Make
Now,
that
what you
shit
trying
make
to
sense.
do?
And
Which
then
is
they
weird.
tell you, oh well, kids can't go to school. You have to be enforced to take it. The motherfucker.
Mhm. Next one, the collapse. As the angel are defeated, the human psyche become the true battleground. Asuka have a mental breakdown. Real origin, a clone of Shinji's mother, Yu Ikari. So that's her real name. See, I call it out. Or revealed. Kaworu, an angel in human form. Ooh. An angel in human form choose to die at Shinji hand. Devastated. That's a man. Keyword, the collapse. You add in way more trauma to the part of that.
Interesting. So we had another. Okay, so we have another alien. Okay.
That right there alone, when you read it, it lets you know, yo, that is some effed up scenario right there. You
Yeah.
find out that Ray is a clone of your mom. You find out Kaworu is nothing but an angel in human form. So it kind of like it throw you off your game big time. I ain't gonna lie, I would have been traumatized too, my goddamn self.
This is why that's why it says the true battlefield is within the mind, because that's where it hits.
The last major arc we called The End. The final two episodes became a surreal, abstract exploration of consciousness. Shinji confront his self-worth and identity. Ooh. Don't we all go to that kind of crossroad when we had that trauma? Interminability began. Ultimately, Shinji chose individuality over unity. Uh, this right here, individuality, that's what we're living in today's society. The American society, if you think about it. Known as AKA Generation Me.
Yeah, but I think honestly, I think there's a reason. Well, yeah, but you always got to think about it, right? At least with Shin, his reason for individuality versus unity is because of what he lost or what he has to experience. People are just going individualism because of they believe that they're at a disadvantage, or they believe life is not fair and boo hoo hoo and all this other shit that goes along the way. He
But this,
experienced unity already.
but this anime, I'm not gonna lie, I hate to say it. I don't like to say it, but this is a must-watch anime for
Oh,
anybody
it is.
who want to get an introduction into anime. This one will have your brain racking a lot of different thought process. This anime, it had its way of doing things to people. Trust me. It would have it thinking like, whoa,
Because you know what's
this is
funny? The one element that they really don't talk about so much in here that they should is actually the price of sacrifice.
mm,
Because think about it, a lot of them, half human, half angels, they're over here really just sacrificing. You're putting your body on the line. You're in these fucking pilots. You're going through a mental breakdown. You're going through a mental shift. You're going through all these trans visuals and everything while being in this being in the unit. A lot of this is really just, you can pretty much say this is the poster. This is the poster show for trauma bonding in the most weirdest ways.
and we in a nation that is the expert of trauma bonding. If you think about it, if you know what I mean,
Right.
because you cannot deny we trauma bond on a huge, massive level, and we don't understand why what we're doing is so wrong doing so, but we still do it. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Uh, let's see the next. Ended explained. TV ending from episode 25 to 26 take place almost entirely within Shinji's mind. Abstract, introspective, low budget due to production issue, and with Shinji achieving self-acceptance, the cast claps and congratulate him. Congratulations. Here's what I have an issue with. Whenever there's a very unique anime that's doing well, and for some apparent reason there's a production issue, meaning they must have burned through the budget. They had to do it audible, trying to figure out how to end the anime. because they don't have enough money to do the actual anime. Actually, based on a manga. And how many times we talked about it before? Like anime, a lot of anime had to go to production issue.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And that's one of the number one issue. I have that issue about that. Like we talked about from past shows, like Gun Grade, perfect example. Ladies and gentlemen, here was somebody make an error mistake. I'm not the oldest guy in the network. Yeah. Oldest guy is Moses, aka in the beginning, because I wasn't there at the beginning. I was in the middle, but never in the beginning. But explain it to me, Wally. Seeing that we saw the TV ending for episode 25, 26 because of low budget, how often did it, when you see stuff like this happen to an anime, it really takes you off?
Wait, say that one question one more time.
Based on this, seeing that the TV ended on episode 25 and 26 was done in a way because of one, low budget, or their production issue within the studio. How often that you have noted that you felt like you were shortchanged in a particular franchise? Remember, we said this about Gunblade.
Well, yeah. Well, funny enough, earlier ago we had a small little disagreements about The Wire, right? Who's to say The Wire originally was supposed to be there? AKA low budgeting tactics, right there. So yeah,
and we went in on a couple of anime because either they didn't have the budgets, or they screw up the budget. They didn't follow those sources. They decided to go left or right on it. And when they go left and right, you screwed the whole franchise. Like, dude, what were you thinking?
yeah, because a lot of times when you hear low budget due to production issues, it's really like what limited financial resources impact on production quality, creative, problem solving. Others going to reduce crew and equipment, limited production value, time consumptions, post production limitations, and then compromise quality. So it in grand sites, it's just the studio, whoever they're working with at that time, and then the funding that they were able to get amongst that, which sort of buried this a little bit.
Now, here it is now. This is another perfect candidate. Remember in a few episodes before this, we mentioned how certain anime was given a second or third or fourth chance to a complete proper reboot, right?
Mm-hmm.
This anime was done back in the 90s, correct?
It should be, yeah.
The technology back then is not the same as it is right now, right?
Correct.
But what's crazy about it, this franchise had a huge promotion with Asus. They were selling some of their best computer parts, their best motherboard, their best video card, their AIO water cooler, their case, the best case, their best power supply, the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, the headset. They had it paint and design just like the Neo Genesis Evos, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it made a huge sale, a huge profit, because people were buying. Even though they didn't win the giveaway, people were buying it. Mind you, what if they were given to a particular production studio who can revamp or remaster or perfect it and try and do it justice? Do you think that it would have been done better at this time now? Based on present time technology we have today, going to anime production?
So yeah, if they were to bring this back into the market, yeah, I would believe they would do good. I would believe it more so than not, because I'll even go further. for another reason of low budget due to production. Because if these are supposed to be angels, quote unquote, if you go look at the video for Neo, Genesis Evangelion, you actually notice one thing. Look at the intro and go look at Unit 001 when it shows its angel wings. Low budget.
I'm glad you mentioned that. So it's safe to say this anime is due for a remaster or redone or reboot, so to speak. That's
Because I
correct?
can see, well, yeah, because I can definitely see, right? If let's say there's no low budgeting, one, the wire disconnected, there would be no need for
Bingo.
wire. Two, the wings would be a little bit more crisp and a little bit more at ease. Three,
Bingo.
the weaponry would not be so subtracted from the actual unit itself. It would actually be on the, like, for instance,
Good point. Good point.
the gun weapon that was subtracted. The knife was that was in parts, but there's ways you could have at least made some space and room to get those weaponry. Just being honest. And two, I think another thing that was really low budget was the number one factor. If you're trying to tell me these units, aka these model angels, were supposed to be having quote unquote connection with the pilot, because technically the pilot themselves are also somewhat part angel. Shouldn't we ever had a moment where there should have been a connection between you and the freaking machinery, a conversation? Again, we're missing a lot here. We're missing so
Because
much.
based on the mistake they made on this franchise, right? There was other anime that decided to make sure they don't make the same mistake this anime made. Like Estaflone, another anime with a mecha. Very unique. There was some franchise under the Mobile 2 Gundam series that they made sure they fixed that issue. Because besides the new type they had the Psycho Gundam whereby it goes on your psychic connectability. Either you're the next level or the new type, whereby you don't need a controller, you just think it through and it moves, right?
Right, because there was like it was
The
pretty much
Iron Rose Maiden. There's a particular surgery that some of these young kids would take, all the kids, the children, they do a particular surgery at their back when they connect to the mobile suit.
Mhm.
You connect directly into the mobile suit, meaning you almost
Right.
move naturally speaking. That was another part. Shoot. Oh, they did. Me and what I'm talking about. We're gonna start doing section and section of the Mobile 2 franchise. The first one we'll do will be Mobile 2 Gundam Wing. So we're talking to the editor to see how we're going to either be doing one episode, one franchise each week. You do a breakdown of the whole entire season one storyline. I think that would work, right? Or how would I do it? Because there's some Mobile 2 Gundam series. Let's say first episode, there's a lot of episodes behind it. Either we break it out the first 4, first 5 summary.
we might have to do those because to just do one whole episode in one and then find
Okay.
time.
I don't think we'll do a whole. You want to do one episode for each one?
I mean, yeah, but then at that point, if we do that, do we want to do a live on one episode? It's like okay, that's my thing. Like eventually, I mean, look, I'm not saying like yeah, we can do like 1 through 4, and that'll be enough on a good startup. But if we were to do like the whole season, shoot,
Yeah. If we would do the whole season, that means we're like a few episodes, maybe 3 or 4 episodes, depending on how many episodes they have, right? Like each show, we do like 4 or 5 episodes in between. What do you think?
Yeah, so if we can do 1 to 4, I can work with that.
We're trying to work on that on the format of how we gonna go about it because Mobile 2 Gundam was a perfect example of how they capitalized on Neo Genesis mistake. They showed some of the things that
Gundam was before then, if I'm not mistaken.
Gundam was before this, but here's the thing: Gundam in Japan was based on the original Gundam. The one that made it to the United States was Mobile 2 Gundam Wing, and from then they shoot off like that, clean. But they had the original Mobile 2 Gundam series that was aired in Japan. Right now, it's on Netflix right now as we speak, and they're bringing more and more franchise series under the Mobile Suit Gundam library. So if you have a Netflix account, look it up, you'll find it.
Yeah. Well, one thing's for sure too. Going back to the idea of if this was like if the creator or whoever want to bring this back into product, I mean, this is highly rated too. This is very highly rated for one season, which is why one thing too. This is why I also say this. I said this before, right? A lot of these mechs they only last for like one season. Notice a lot of the outer space stuff, everything else, they usually last for one season. But you know what? That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. The EVAs are specifically removed from mech in general. Not technically, because they are considered that. Especially when you go look and read it, they do consider them mech. They're not mech adjacent, but yeah, they're mech.
They were considered mech, but I think there's the angle to what he was saying based on the argument we have because
because he's saying in general, but because I think because like when you look at Neo Genesis, because it's like I guess it all depends, right? It's like, are we really considering this fully mech, or are we really saying that this is more a humanary thing going into mech? Because Gundam, it was more mech than it was humanary. This is more touching on humanary.
Gundam is that one. Pot Label was another one. Ecto Flona with another one. Eureka 7 with another one. Man, you know what? We're gonna have an episode where we try to listen to all. We'll start doing a counter based on genre. If you're doing mech, these are the list of mech anime to look into. If we're going to do shonen, if you're going to do we need to do an episode on those time. What do you think? We're gonna talk about. Should we do a series? Talk about different genre and recommendation.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. We'll figure that out.
That would be cool.
Because if I look back at it right now, because the main thing that I was gonna point to amongst this is because pretty much like you guys said earlier, right? If we were to ever push forward the idea of mech, I mean, well, not just mech, but the idea of bringing back Neo Genesis Evangelion, if we were to bring it back, I mean, it's up there for a high stake to come back because one, this is a very heavily touted anime series. I mean, the ratings 8.5 out of 10. Out of
I wouldn't even argue that because if it didn't have high rating, they wouldn't do a promotion with AC where they're selling computer part painted in that type of design. Whenever any company doing a promotion to do an anniversary of a particular franchise, AC did two. One for Mobile Suit Gundam. If you buy some of the computer part, they go with the case, the motherboard, like I said, the all-in-one looking cooler, the video card, the power supply. They had two cases for the Mobile Suit Gundam. They had the two monitors, two keyboard, two mouse. But you have one for the Gundam and one for the Daku. I remember that. One case represented the Gundam, another case represented the Daku. Now for the Neo Genesis Evangelion promotion, it was only one case they did that with. Mind you, they are 3 units. And they did the 002 unit. That was all red. Am I correct?
Okay, David, I don't know what happened, but okay. Well, when he gets back, but Eric, what you said, mobile suits didn't bite huge, bloody chunks out of their enemies like preying animals and gobble like a Tasmanian devil. Hey, you know what? You may say so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I'm giving you sort of credit for that because again, the suits themselves were just suits, but even the suits. There was some amongst some of the mobile suits, they were, or at least a few, as like 1 and 2. There was a a je ne sais quoi connection. Now these are a little bit hazardous. I'll give you that. Yeah, they're hazardous. They're a little bit they're a little bit psychopath, but that's what happens when you put a soul that's trying to rest and they can't rest because they're internally in a body. They're internally in a unit suit called call it Angel. Okay, we got you back. Hopefully we can fix
I'm
this
back.
up. Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
What did
This
happen?
main screen. Yeah, swing that back around. All right,
There was some weird thing going on. My thing freaked up on me. I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, don't worry. I think it's everybody, honestly, because I guarantee you sometimes, I don't know why, but it's like you can click out of one area. Like, God forbid, if I click out one of these tabs, my whole Google Chrome browser will click me out completely. And it'll restart me. I have to restore it all.
And here's the thing, I didn't open too many windows. And that's the thing I was making sure of that, Kyle. I want to talk more about this franchise. I apologize to you guys for freaked up on this one.
Well, you wasn't too far away, but yeah. But
You know what? Eric is wrong for this.
Yeah, I talked about this, but he did call it out, though.
God damn.
Called it out, though. He damn sure called it out. I ain't gonna lie to him.
A huge bloody chunk out of their enemy like prey animal and gobble them like Tasmanian devil. You really had to.
Hey, he called it on that one. I'm sorry.
And I think this is the reason why he said it's not considered a mecha because it don't act like a mecha. Mecha don't do such a thing. Like, hello.
Hey, well, but that's what I'm saying. Again, say what you wish, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
I think this episode is an episode whereby we're in the agreement whereby this need to be a reboot or need to be done properly. And you had a list of what need to be redone on this franchise. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's be honest. If low budget was due for the issues, then imagine when you do it great budget. The wings are more crispier and cleaner. Again, the wire is gone. The weaponry are actually in the suits, not subpar.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there? The psychic connection of souls within the unit and the human itself. That should be a conversation. Because you're not going to show me that and think that I'm not supposed to get a talking soul out of the suit, and magically a suit that wasn't ultimately programmed enough to even move, but magically moved and protect you. Like, no, what's the connection between here? Is this suit really my mother protecting me in the great beyond? Like, come on, like
that sounds like Gara. Where his Sam protecting him, remember?
Of course.
And his animated father realized your mom have been protecting you all this time. Dude, I'm telling you, anime take note from other animes and they get homage on it. You didn't pay attention. That is real talk for real. You cannot argue that, not one bit. Just can't. And then explain, continued, the end of Evangelion 1997 film, a darker, more literal retelling of the ending event, showed nerve fall, Asuka battle, and terrifying process of instrumentality. The end with Shinji rejecting instrumentality and returning to a ruined earth, finding only Asuka beside him. Now hold up. Ruined earth, that means they were the last group of humans fighting the angel and everybody's gone already. That what trying to tell us? The final line, Kimochi Rawu, how did disgusting. This is more proof we need a reboot. Because there needs to be a proper explanation because they're saying end with Shinji rejecting instrumentality, return to a ruined earth. So ruined earth in what era? Because when they find these angels, they were either on their own turf in Japan, Tokyo, whatever, or they're the only one fighting. Because it sounds like this was used to create what's that movie? Rim Pacific?
Yeah.
Remember that live action when you had two people piloted a mech? We had to be synchronized. You in his thought, he's your thought. Yeah, it seemed like the idea came from here. Think about it. Because during that movie, the kaiju was running amok. Real bad. Everybody was going to wherever turf, whereby they had the best Jaeger that can save them. That was a thing. Remember?
Mm.
That's how I'm looking at it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please give your own 2 cents as well. If you think that this anime needs to get a master reboot, what are your list of ideas that you think they should add to it? Put it in the comment section when the show is over, so we can come back later and check it out. Because Wally got his own list. He's precise on that one.
I got more. I mean, definitely. I think when you talk about these challenges, because think of it even today, right? If you take this old model and reverse it to where we are today, and think about the understanding of each of these terms as far as instrumentally, right? It's like even now, right? Because if you didn't know what that really means, right, it's pretty much saying it refers to something that serves as a means or agency to achieve a particular end. It's about being instrumental in bringing about a result. So, what is that
And
result that most people are looking for? Well,
in plain English, you're a tool.
pretty much, pretty much, you are a tool. So, in your tool,
Unintended. Like the guy in AEW, he's a 5'2" player. Like, oh, hello. Hey,
right. So,
that terminology, we haven't heard that terminology in years. The fact that it actually existed, that what we're referring to, that's a big deal.
right, but because when you think about all these social issues and everything else that's going on, it just brings up a lot to where if you masterly bring this back and you masterly show it on a scale level of, well, how does this reflect in young teens? Because again, this is around teenagers, and how this reflects going upwards as far as growing up, especially when you're maybe left without a father, or however maybe left out a mother, or both, God forbid. This gives you that gives you that closure. It gives you that understanding and closure of how to deal with these things, or at least see how other people were dealing with it and how that was trying to break through.
I get you on that one. That's real talk. And this thing, looking at the theme, this lets you know there was no regular anime. The theme of depression plus mental health. Shinji and others struggle with trauma, anxiety, and loneliness. Individuality versus unity. Instrumentality, act whether it's better to be connected or remain alone but free. Parenthood and abandonment. Gendo and Yuro shape Shinji's entire physique. This right here, I'll be a real cool. When the person who created this anime, you can tell this guy was watching the news a lot. You cannot argue with me and say that's not the case. The first one and the last one. In the 80s and the 90s, which region of the world was heavier on that issue?
Say that one more time.
I say between the 80s and the 90s, based on the first one and the last theme. What region of the world was heavy on that?
You tell me.
I'll give you a good perfect answer. 80s, parenthood and abandonment, United States. Crack epidemic, the black community.
Okay, so it's going on.
Depression, mentality, mental health. It was United States, it was Europe. Remember, Germany was divided into two. They had to break down the wall in between, right?
Mm.
There's a lot of social issues that were taking place in the 80s and the 90s on a global scale. That right there was a big deal. No one can deny that.
Right.
Individuality and unity.
Right now.
That was a
Right now.
crossroad. Well,
Right now.
that is right now, but that was ahead of its time.
Yeah. The thing is about it. The only small difference about this is like there is no quote unquote, means or achieves of a particular end. Well, actually, no. Now that I think about it, yeah, there is a particular end. The particular end is quote unquote marriage. But the problem is with most people these days is that better to quote unquote? Is it better to be connected or to be just single, alone, and free?
The second theme, individuality versus unity, that was a crossroad injunction that took place from the 70s to the 80s within the black community. Because with the black community, they say the black community, the most more potential people were married at that time from the 40, 50, and 60 was high up in the 80s and the 70s percentile.
Yes, and if you hear some of the people out here, aka the ladies, that are saying otherwise, they were saying, "Well, yes, we were only there because we were pretty much we were there for
Segregated.
survival,
Survivor, and we were segregated at that time.
but mostly because of survival. They didn't
Pretty
necessarily."
much.
Okay.
So
But yeah,
at that
so
time, the the 40, 50, 60, 70, including 30, the black community was running on a unity mindset, survival mode, right?
mm,
By the time they reached the 70 to 80, they were the crossroad junction. They ended segregation. There was a choice. Either they united or you enter a new dynamic called individuality, which lead to a major decline in family and marriage. Ain't that unique?
in a sense, yes, but ultimately, no. Let me tell you why.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, because again, remember, if there was something, quote unquote, if there was something forcing us to be, quote unquote, in unity or in marriage, right? It wasn't done justly for the sake of the people that wanted to do it. It was forced. So because it's forced, technically, we always been individuals or individualisms. We always been on this because reality, it's been forced.
Imagine,
There's no unity, but you call for unity. Okay.
imagine how these anime emphasize on these topics in a deeper level. I know during the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, depression and mental health, it was on a sharp rise. It was. It was no joke. Then the part of the parenthood abandonment, when the crack epidemic hit the black community, listen to a lot of people who grew up in during that time zone here in the United States, they were saying either their parents were crackhead, they were raised on their own, mom and dad no longer in the house, they had to raise their sibling, X, Y, Z. A lot of kids out in the neighborhood at a certain time of the day. It was like a joint community. Everybody look out for one another to a certain degree. The mix of these three topics was heavy in the U.S. during the 70s, the 80s. Then the transition started to show up more in the 90s. If you think about it. It was saying anime have a way of
Understanding multiple cultures than themselves.
bingo.
Oh yeah. And that's why you sort of look at this and be like it's sort of therapeutic because you look at it and you say to yourself, huh, they get us.
Who get us more than what anime they get us more than anything else?
It all depends on which one you're trying to hit to.
Prince.
If you go back to Dragon Ball Z, you sit it down, god damn it, sit it down. Sit it down, damn it. I know it hits the same way, but sit it the hell down. You and your deals.
Wally would never let me go that way. He would never run with that one because he know that
No, because you don't put justice on it. You don't put no damn justice. You ain't gonna call no Vegeta no dang Pookie, all right? Just because his daddy was out here messing with a random don't mean you get to call him a Pookie.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you go back to that early episode about the Dragon Ball Z franchise. If you're new to this channel, you're new to this show, go back to the Dragon Ball Z discussion we have about and listen very carefully. And in the comment section, tell me if I was wrong or right.
He was wrong. If you tell him that he was right, I will come in there myself and cause havoc. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. There will be war up in that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's open season. Throughout this whole year,
Everyone
we're
gets
having a
smoked.
campaign.
You come in there and talk
We're
about
having
the
a
kingdom of the
campaign.
Pookie. Everyone gets smoked. Okay? Everyone
They're
gets smoked.
having a campaign on this. On that episode, we talk about the Dragon Ball Z franchise. When you watch it from the beginning to the end, look at Eric. Look at Eric right now.
Let me see
Look at
one
Eric.
fly of any BS. There will be smoke.
Look at this. Look at Eric. Ah, damn it. I'm declaring a DB free zone.
Well, shoot.
No, because this topic is a very interesting topic, but the thing is, we keep overlooking how anime relates to a lot of culture, a lot of people. Look at this part. Religious symbolism, Christianity, Kabbalah, and myth are used for aesthetic and thematic purpose, though. For the past 6 to 7 decades, religious symbolism have been on a new time high. Either we like it or we don't.
I see. Now I'm gonna have to understand where does the Christianity comes into this.
We come to black folk. How many denominations do we have in our community?
I don't touch the denominations. I don't get access for none of that. For everybody else, it's pretty much a lot.
Okay. Now, in none of these Christian denominations suit you, you cross the other line and join what version of Islam?
Here's my thing. I don't cross over nothing.
Either you cross the religion of Islam or the nature of Islam, the black suit, tie.
Well, hey.
Or if neither of them work, you cross the border and join into Buddha. Or the multiple, like I'm saying, religious symbolism have been an all-time high in the last 5 to 6 decades. Can I argue that? Human evolution. The series explore what it means to be a human, whether we can transcend our limitations. How many cults have we noticed in history time that they try to do some weird stuff?
Fuckery? Oh, see, these motherfuckers think they smart. Okay, I see now. Okay, yeah, they're not lying.
And what happened? Share what is going on? Who's smart?
Okay, so look, so this is how they tie in the Christianity plots. One, the understanding of an angel, since technically they're souls of a human, so technically the souls of the units, so if they're angels, they have the soul of a unit. So yeah, that's one. This is an interesting part. They added the layer of the Adam and Lilith combination in this.
And Lilith, if everybody don't understand that, Lilith was the second Eve. That was a conspiracy that been
right. Because this is how it started. Yeah, because this is how they're putting it down. These are central figures in a series, and their names are directly taken from biblical and Judas folklore. Their role and relationship within the evangelist narrative, however, are unique and often deviate from their traditional interpretations. Interesting. Another one, the Lance of Longinus or Longinus. This powerful artifact is named after the Roman soldier who pierced Jesus' sides during the crucifixion.
Imagine you such material for that.
Holy
imagine that.
And then of course they had the cross. Now if you remember, if you end up watching this, if you remember like the first 2 episodes when the first angel bots pretty much sacrificed itself, that explosion actually was a cross. So yeah, I could see that. That was an automatic one right there.
So imagine an anime like of this nature.
Interesting.
We're going heavy on the religious symbolism. Heavy.
Interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Anime is not like cartoon, and cartoon is not like anime. There's so much nugget in these anime. If you're not paying attention, you missed it. The Human Evolution, a series that explore what it means to be a human or whether we can transcend our limitations, that have been popped up in the news a lot throughout the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s.
Well, and this is my thing about the quote unquote human evolution conversations. I mean, are we really humans?
Mm.
Because notice that we had a term called we're human beings, right? When we have these conversations, we're human beings. Well, why would we call ourselves beings? Because on a technicality, the one that brought us here is the eternal being, the all-knowing being, right? So, why do we have the subtitle human? Because we're in flesh.
Now, if I want to go on a science side of things, why do you have so many scientists looking for a serum that make you look younger or live longer or find a way to extend your life or see if it worth to put yourself in a cryogenic chamber, freeze you, and bring it back how many years later? Demolition
Right.
Man, we have a movie that discuss about, like, let's be real here. How many movies have you have seen throughout the past couple of decades where they throw the idea whereby it might be possible to freeze yourself and wake you up a couple of years later, or a decade later, or a
Or
century
you
later?
can transmute your like I think what your presence into a whole nother being, aka avatar.
Bingo. Or you can go to sleep and have your body in a humanoid operated while you still in some kind of cryogenic chamber. You need to be awake, so to speak. There have been a lot
Right.
of movies.
Yeah, you know, funny you say that because I forgot what movie this
I
name
forgot what
was.
it was.
It was
Uh,
someone I watched this on a movie review. We did a movie review about this. Yeah, it's interesting.
Cool George in that movie too, because he younger self with a humanoid, his older self with some kind of chamber. He got mad because that thing wake him up, but he didn't want to wake up. I forgot what movie that was. A lot
Yeah.
of people in that society were using their humanoid to live on the earth, while there was some kind of aquatic chamber with tubes and stuff like that connected to them, and their body was working wirelessly.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
there's a whole lot
we
of stuff.
have seen a lot of movies that have been touching on the human evolution and anatomy concept too many times, and that topic even pop up plenty of time in anime. Appleseed, hello, Ghost in the Shell,
Oh yeah, I
hello.
forgot. Futurama also touched human evolution as well.
There you go, Futurama.
Yeah, put them in heads in them lamb liquids so they can keep on talking. Degenerates. Oh, filthy degenerates. And then to even make it worse, they'll take your head out and then clap you on another head, and it's like, oh wow, it's like I'm already $1,000,000. I'm 10 times younger. Look, where the fuck we do that at?
Yo, that topic right there, human evolution ain't going nowhere no time soon. It's amazing because too many people have been throwing this theory about what if possible might not be possible.
Of course, the reason why human evolution will never be gone because when you hear, like, when you take away quote unquote like books from the Bible or whatever books you read,
Mm,
and you hear humans living almost 100 plus years, people ask themselves, how is that possible when on average we're only living at best at 80, maybe less?
a good series to watch on Netflix, The 100.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one. I actually watched that a little bit.
That thing was a very unique, deep series, and a lot of content about human evolution was on that particular series. So these last two things right there, it hit a nerve. And throughout the past 4 to 5 decades, there have been movies, there have been animes, there have been TV shows that touch these topics, right? Multiple times in any shape, form, or fashion. Like they were throwing hints. like it's possible how you go about it. There were diet regimes that if you change certain diet, maybe it'll make you live a little longer. I saw a video on somebody shared. I saw a video on my feed on Instagram. They said it takes to live 140 something years. I was like, huh?
Talking about the old woman.
Some old. You mean what I sent to you, right?
Yeah. But see, that's the thing, though, right? That video, what that video is proved when you look at her is the simple fact of, well, that goes to what you're putting in your body. And again, this is why we sit here and say this is why a lot of people they clown America because America is doing some foul shit to the American people amongst the food industry.
The life expectancy in the United States is lower compared to other nations.
Right,
Japan is much
because
higher.
they're letting you be able to buy these cancer sticks in stores. Sure, it's a hot commodity in the corner store, but reality is they're killing you from within. And yet y'all gotta keep on buying these knowing that these cancer sticks do what again? Okay.
And here's the harsh reality. If you leave this country, you end up living longer.
See? That's the thing. It's like it's sort of weird because it's like the moment you be the one person that says, you know, a lot of this ish that they're selling in here is just a whole bunch of trash. But then guess what? Be that one person, and people will look at you like, I don't care.
All you have to do is leave this country, move to any of these particular that have a higher life expectancy. In 1 or 2 years,
Most people.
If one lady on Instagram, she said it. In 1 or 2 years, all the crazy sickness that she had while she was living here no longer show up again when she's living over there. It's like it completely walked out the door, never came back.
Because we're being hooked on things that are pretty much keeping us down. So again, going back to the psychology part, the mental health and everything else, right? Think about it. The biggest hitter, right? When you're, mentally distrained or anything else, guess what? What most people do? They'll pick up a cigarette. It'll be the quickest thing they do. It's the quickest enabler. You're mentally traumatized. The quickest enabler. You gotta pick up a cigarette. I'm gonna pick up an ugly tasting beer. Soak my wounds.
And here's the thing, though, all the crazy sickness that people complain they had over here, and I've heard people say several times that, "Oh, I went to this country. I was there for like a few months. I didn't have no symptom no more. The moment I came back, it all came back all like."
Because the food is just nasty,
I lived in the country for a whole year. I didn't have this issue. I didn't have that issue. 1 year later, it's like I never had it, not one bit at all. And then a couple of idiot peers of mine talk about, "Oh, I need to get you to this ideology." No bullshit. You can keep this ideology, along it kill your behind. I make the change to go somewhere else and live much longer than your dumb behind. Well, right here, human evolution, that topic is not going nowhere.
Because think about it, when you hear about if we were to talk about human evolution on a baseline factor of, well, what country in the world lives a little bit more longer than the rest? And amongst the Asians, they live very young. They live very long, decently.
Japan, Thailand, the Philippines, South Korea, Singapore, China, and there's other nations. There's Holland in Europe.
You pretty much just hit all the Asian spots.
Iceland.
Okay, now we're going Europe.
Norway, Switzerland. Then you have a bunch of African countries that also have a longer life expectancy than the United States. Hello. Where the food is actually pure, not extremely heavily processed. That's why I say when you watch anime makes you think a lot more. I've been telling my kids, the more you watch cartoons, the more you get dumbed down. Fact. Ain't nobody can tell me they watch anime and anime dumb their ass down. We have all type of intellectual conversation because what you caught on to you did your research, like, yo, I didn't know that there's this. Imagine this iconic anime had different topic like this. They'll have you thinking a lot more. I think next month or so we'll talk about Dr. Stone. That is the nerd icon anime. Ladies and gentlemen, before we talk about that particular franchise, Dr. Stone, I will highly, and I mean it, I will highly, highly, highly recommend it. Right now, Dr. Stone is now on Netflix. And it's heavy on the human evolution topic. Very unique.
So look at this, right? So I'm gonna name just the top 5, right?
Go ahead.
And the first one, these are the top 5. Like they don't really put in numbers, but I'm just saying these are just 5. Hong Kong, Japan, Switzerland, Singapore, and Italy.
You hear that?
All 5 of those
Ladies and
places, right? And most of it is primary on these 4 hit points: quality healthcare, healthy diets, lifestyle, and social economics factors.
The whole fall factor, America is failing on the worst case level.
So you look at it right there, ladies and gentlemen. You look at it right there.
See,
Just call it for what it is.
I'm hoping that this show we do every Wednesday will bring a deep awareness about how much anime can educate people a lot more than expected. So you can walk away from the cartoon that making you dumb down as hell. But you'd be surprised. A lot of these anime throw a lot of hints. That's why I suggested if you're a nerd and you like some of these science stuff, watch Dr. Stone. This is good for kids. Then again, today's kids like to watch dumb stuff. I don't understand why.
Because
Like
their
dumb
parents
stuff
let them
that-
watch the dumb stuff. They want them to be good.
You got a point.
And this is why I say the mindset of today's world, you got to stop letting your kids be kids. You got to actually train your kids to be adults for the future.
Bingo. Bingo. Expanding universe. We built our Evangelion. It came back out in 2007 to 2021. A theology of film retelling, eventually reinventing the series. Evangelion 0.1.0, you are not alone. Evangelion 2.0, you cannot advance. Evangelion 3.0, you cannot redo. Certain. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 twice upon a time. These introduce new characters and event leading to a more hopeful and conclusive ending for Shinji. I didn't know about this part. I gotta look for it.
See, honestly, I thought these were all just, well, I didn't know these were extended. I thought these were just movies that just play tits or tats. It's like
And
he's reading.
I'm gonna look them up because I didn't know they did a remaster. They did a remaster. I wonder how it actually look. That is my concern.
Is this a remaster?
They're saying the rebuild of Evangelion.
No, because I've seen these. These are actually considered movies.
Movie. Okay.
Yeah, on the website I watched, they're considered movies.
Now they need to do this series proper.
Yeah, the series, I don't think so. The series was a real thing because like they said, these were actually retelling and eventually reinventing in a sense, of the overall series itself.
Meaning give it a better conclusive ending for Shinji. Meaning
Yeah, so pretty much when you see the movies, you're pretty much getting a better closure, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. This is weird. Now, on the final slide, legacy. NGE redefined what anime could be. NGE stands for Neo Genesis Evangelion, both narratively and thematically. Influenced countless series. Now, it's way more than this. Like Defon, Dolly in
That's
the
why I
Frank.
said etc.
I watched that anime, Dolly in the Frank. It was a cool anime. We're gonna talk about it another time we get a chance to. Attack on Titan. It was a cool anime. I would have to say they was the the grandchild of NGE, Neo Genesis Evangelion. The theme it was almost identical to that thing, almost in a way, almost with a twist.
I
It
can
continued to be
see somewhat of similarities between Attack on Titans and that one, in a sense.
Attack on Titan.
It's tough to see the similarities, but there's some similarities to it.
There's a twist to it because there was no mech.
Right.
You,
That's
you was ejecting human being become Titan. That is a reverse. So if you say it had influence though, then maybe in a way, but it was a lot they influenced.
I think you have to touch the more of the humanary side of it all versus the actual mech and Titan part. If you touch the humanary side, I think that's the psychological the psychological wherewithal to think about it. Because if there's ever a moment within Attack on Titans where there is a talk between Titans and humans and how they came to be and all this, and there's some form of sympathy, then something like that.
But here the last line. It's funny that I was talking about it before this slide. It continued to be dissected for its psychology, philosophy, and symbolism.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
And I broke it down in that kind of way before we got to this slide. Imagine that.
Because I ain't gonna lie to you, if we were to watch every part and think to ourselves, how much psychological moments did you have to sit there and question that was being presented?
And that's why I said, and I'm glad that you agree with me. This franchise deserves a complete, proper reboot based on today's technology in anime production to do it complete justice, because the anime itself that started the conversation big time. It did. You cannot argue that. I don't care what anybody says. If you're coming late to this show, I want you to watch this from the beginning to the end and see my breakdown when I was talking about before I got to this particular slide. This anime is very, very iconic for multiple reasons. The fact that anyone who watched Neo Genesis Evangelion was forced to have that discussion about psychology, philosophy, and symbolism. And the way I broke it down before we got to this slide, I point out there were so many other movies, TV shows that were going in on human evolution, that were going in on the symbolism and religion on a much deeper level. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Can I say that's never been the case? If anybody who's a fan of the Indiana Jones franchise, that particular movie of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when this witch doctor about to put his hand in his chest and pull out his heart, you cannot tell me that didn't freak you out. Okay, Molly. Ain't nobody cannot tell me if you went to the movie theater, you watched Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, when he was holding that stone, and that one witch doctor was trying to fight him over the stone, and he got his hand on his chest, and he saw his finger entering in his chest. And you put yourself in your mind, let some dude chant some kind of nonsense, and all of a sudden his finger going into my chest, trying to pull my heart. How would I going to react? You, Wally, put yourself in that position. You're on mute.
If I were to ever seen someone literally put their arms to their chest and pull their heart out, it's either A, my only first thought is A, you must convince your heart to be a bomb, and at that moment I'm out of there. Because there ain't no way now. You ain't doing that now. No.
Yo, this is the reason why Indiana Jones franchise was iconic, because that part they did in that movie a lot of Indiana Jones movie had some stuff that got you thinking like, is this for real? Is it possible? Are there things in this world that we cannot explain that actually exist? Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark, another franchise movie. Indiana Jones told the lady, if anything you do not open your eyes. And after that, the United States government had to put that artifact in some safe house, locked up. Yes, it was a movie. Now, question is it actually locked up under the United States government? Yeah, I've watched so much movies where they'll give you a hint. There's some natural artifacts from the I can't even call it yesteryears, during the year of our pain.
Forget that. I would have said during the years of, you ain't supposed to be here. Let's put it that way. You wasn't supposed to be here. That's why I put it in.
And this is why I've been trying to explain to people: anime have a way of making you think about a lot of things. It gets you to question things. It makes you think. It makes you have such conversation that the actor is this legitimately for real? Did it really happen? How do you feel about certain things? Neo, Genesis Evangelion. I cannot say it with a bad anime. I can never say it. You're not gonna hear me say that right now. The same way I did on Gungrave, without going in on that. The same way you did on Tekka Man.
Sir, leave the damn thing alone. Leave it alone. God damn it, leave that alone. That is not my fault. Again, I say this again. That is me taking inference of information and looking from outside.
Oh,
do not have no gripe with the anime for the simple fact that I haven't watched it yet. Why
well, let me play this though.
I haven't had time.
I enjoyed this conversation, and I'm still gonna say it again. We are hoping we can get a female co-host to join our show, so we can have a different perspective. Because
I mean, I might have an idea of someone. We can talk back about that.
yeah, you can bring her in because it's not only guys that watch anime; it's also ladies too. If we can have at least 2 ladies who can join this panel, we have certain discussion about certain anime. We want their own angle on the anime, how they think it meant to them. But believe me when I say this right now, before you would say, "Oh, anime was a boy or guy thing." Not exactly. I got chewed out by water because I was crapping on Sailor Moon.
He didn't get chewed up by me. All I said was it wasn't a bad anime.
Okay, you didn't get chewed out. I know you didn't get chewed out. I was just saying I wasn't feeling it. I was kind of like, I'm not feeling the girly Sailor Moon. Because Sailor Moon, it was conquering the girl side of the anime.
And look, I say it like this: you're gonna have no choice but to respect them when you understand the amount of power that they have. I'm talking about planet busting power. You have to respect them.
I'm not gonna argue that because here's the problem. In any Comic Con, you see a bunch of ladies. I can't even say a bunch of ladies. You see a platoon of ladies cosplay as Sailor Moon. Don't disrespect them. Do not.
Hey, you're better on loving them than disrespecting them.
We think I'm lying. We think the Star Wars franchise had a huge fan base, or the Star Trek family had a huge fan base. No, Sailor Moon surpassed them.
When you're talking about female goat animes, that is one.
It would be funny. You show up on the news and they say this individual got mugged by a bunch of Sailor Moon cosplayers, all because he opened his mouth and said Sailor Moon sucks. All I'm telling you, you on your own, my brother. I cannot help you. It would be worse if a guy dressed up as one of the Sailor Moon whoop your ass too on top of that. It would be more comical. Oh, there's a few guys who did that. I saw it on the web. I was like,
look here. If I see a cross dresser in anime, I'm turning around and walking out. I'm telling you that right now. I am not doing this. Not today. No. 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 I will be like, well, my day's ruined. Let's go. Let's go.
And
Right
it's one of the
now.
reasons why I stay away from Sailor Moon, because I saw one on the web one time. I had to do a triple take. I was like, hold on, let me go watch. I went to the bathroom. I had to watch my face to make sure there was nothing in my eye that make me feel like I was seeing something weird. I had soap. I took the Dove soap. Hello. At that time when I saw it. I took a Dove soap. Love that bad boy. I was over my face. Came back, checked again. A dude was wearing the Sailor Moon cosplay outfit. I was like, I'm done.
Do you have no do y'all don't have no shame out there in the world? Like literally, do I have no shame?
I understand you like Sailor Moon, but you had to go that far? Really?
I'm sorry. There is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing.
And I'm talking about the guy with the suit in the Sailor Moon, with the hat and the glasses. I'm talking about he was actually wearing one of the Sailor Moon outfits. I think with the violet color. I don't know which one was it. I was like, okay. Oh,
Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
it made me hate Sailor Moon more when I saw that.
I
It did.
You're gripe now. I can see your gripe now.
So my final thought on this right now, I'll make it straight up. I hope the owner of the Neo Genesis Evangelion IP is hearing us. We will love to see this franchise go through a thorough reboot. I say thorough, meaning if you can do a crowdfund, and I'm sure a lot of creators who is a fan of it will pitch in for this to be properly done. You can find an anime studio who can get it done properly. Please, 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 let's get it to work. It needed to be done just because if Dragon Ball D can get a bunch of reboots, Inuyasha, and a few couple of other Transformers, and many others can get reboot and come back out. This one deserves one, by all means. That is my cue. That is my final thought. I believe it deserves to get a proper reboot and do it justice. If you had to redo the movie and show it in the theater, then let it be in the theater so you can get that box office. You can get that bread. But as for the series, I'm not sure Netflix will pick it up. I'm not sure. I'm not saying they're not going to. I was told, Eric said, the Neo Genesis Evangelion on Netflix. Maybe Netflix got the budget to do it. Maybe Netflix know what anime studio they can pull it off. I don't know. If it's possible, please get it done properly. That is my thing.
Well,
Do you agree with me, Eric? Do you think they need to come back out? You let me know. God, that's how I feel. That is my final thought. What's your final thought?
well, here's my final thoughts. Because as much as I did watch the anime and get some little digging in there, I also did a little bit of research and understand that this is not the clearest portrayal of the characters that we had in this series through the anime. And I would only be amazed on. See, this is why I say this. Like, I already know, like, it don't matter if it's comics, books, whatever adaptations you originally get this from, we're never going to get the same adaptation. We're always going to get, like, a nice little tweak. But sometimes, isn't it just like something you just want to be able to get like straightforwardness and understand like why certain things had to be tweaked, or maybe just get the respectable reason why things had to be ushered? Because I say this right now, right? In the world that we're in now, where Dragon Ball is now bringing Super, and they're they pivot this new generation tab, and then they they do the U loop and then circle back and say, well, this is the middleman story, aka Dragon Ball Daima, and which quote unquote got a fast pitch over to this. At this point, sometimes this is why I sit here and say about this the one different visuals as far as for TV series, but I just wish you actually showed me a visual that actually matches the damn manga itself. But then again, it's like I get it, right? There are certain points that we can't touch because of how far it goes in between, everything else of that nature. Yin yang yeah, blase blase, blah 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 blah.
Let's not forget the studio politics come into play as well.
Yeah, and
We have talked about it several times.
But that's my thing, right? I find it interesting. You know what? This is a topic we need to stay right now. Is it time for anime to start touching the level of Star, HBO, and Cinemax? Is it time? Like, let's just drop the crazy shenanigans of all the other networks that we're wasting anime on. Is it time to put it on these types of networks so we actually can get the real grit?
I agree with you. Because remember, some of our past episodes, we was literally saying some of these anime were done dirty due to studio politics or the owner IP politics because they feel, no, it should be done. Let's do it this way. No, I think we got a better idea. And in doing so, they just screw up the anime franchise.
And you know what I'm saying? Like,
this one here, it was low budget screw up. So you're telling me either it was low budget or you didn't have the money or you didn't want to put more money in it or there was some internal conflict that resort into low budget. It could be multiple things that we will never know.
Yeah.
That's why I highly suggested that if some of these iconic anime have the right or the audacity to come back out for a second or third reboot so that it can get it. And I hate to say while we're correct about the Dragon Ball Z Daima, that was another reboot in a very unique way.
Well, I wouldn't even call it a reboot. I'd call it an extension.
I'll give you that.
Because it's really a filler extension between what they're saying, what happened during, before Super, and that, which...
And I'm not going to lie to you, the Dragon Ball Z Daima, I think we might have to do a show on that first before we start touching all the other different parts of Dragon Ball Z because that was very, very controversial because what it did, it threw almost a monkey wrench to the conversation concerning Dragon Ball Super. There's a confusion. But
people are still going to ask the number one question. If this happened, then why is... Because literally, I'm going to say it again. For this to happen, and for it to happen the way... Because I can say this right now, right? You're saying all this happened in Daima, but we still can't... So we get to see Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3 in Daima. But when it was time to go Super Saiyan 3 against Beerus, we're gonna spike it up a little bit, whatever, nicely, pump up the energy, but we're not gonna push him to go Super Saiyan 3 in Super.
And remember we talk about this variables reason behind that because first and foremost, it wasn't in the normal realm where Earth reside at.
Fair.
It wasn't the demon realm because a lot of times we watch animes. There's a factor in play, and some people want to argue. I say, good, perfect example. Sevi Deadly Sin. When Ban went to the demon realm, time was different compared on the regular realm, on Earth realm. They say one day,
same thing even to Goku when he's in the other realm, same thing. Time was different as well.
Bingo, when he was in, we didn't call it heaven, but we was on the Dragon Road, right? The way I'm going to be, the realm of the Kai. Whatever factor they have on the real world would not affect him in the realm of the Kai, even though he was dead. He had the ring.
Right, especially if you remember when they train in the hyperbolic time chamber, you can be there in for a day. Reality, your body has just been transformed because you've really been there for a year. Your body has been there for a year, but you have only been there for a day.
And that's why I say anime is you can't treat anime like it's a cartoon. You have to pay attention to the detail. That's why I say I hate to say that too many people who don't got the brain to pay attention to detail when they watch Dragon Ball Z, they confuse themselves. You're not paying attention to the fact. I was telling them you gotta pay attention to the fact that either you like it or you don't. The hyperbolic chamber, they say 1 hour equal to one day equal to 1 year in the hyperbolic. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Piccolo said, if you go into the hyperbolic chamber for 1 day, you actually spend 1 year inside.
And
Two
you
different
definitely see
time
the
zones.
growth. And you definitely see the
So,
growth.
and you definitely see the goal. So, if you're not paying attention to these factors, then Dragon Ball Z is not for you. Too dumb to understand it. I'm calling out to anybody. That is why I said what I said about Dragon Ball Daima. The scene was taking place in the demon realm, not in the human natural realm. The demon realm. Remember, before the demon realm, you had the realm of the Kai, the realm of the destroyer. That's a whole different time realm, time zone. If you're not paying attention to these factors, then these type of anime is not for you. I understand the argument about Super Saiyan level 4, Super Saiyan level 3, but ask this question: was it done on the regular realm? Because Goku said it before. It was easy for him to do it in the realm of the Kai because there was no restriction on his body. So you could stay longer on it. Plus, he was dead. He got a ring over his head. But when what's that witch name? Like given
I
24
forgot.
hours to live?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I forgot her name too.
That's Master Rochi's sister.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it should be.
She gave him 24 hours to be on the earth. And when he did Super Saiyan level 3, he said it. If he do that, it speed up his time on earth quickly.
Right.
There's a factor in play. So there's a reason why Vegeta could not attain Super Saiyan level 3. You know what? We'll do that on a show. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball Dama. We're going to break it down in detail so people can comprehend it. Because I see people on the web going through their arguments, see people on their YouTube short, on their TikTok short, and they're going back and forth. But I think we need to break it down for them properly on this show. What do you think?
Yeah, when we get time.
When we get the time to talk about Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Dama,
The
we
number
going
one,
to.
right? Because the
Go
number
ahead.
one thing, but like Vegeta was the obvious answer to understanding why it becomes a different trajectory. Because Vegeta said himself, right? When we saw Vegeta train, right, he trained at a gravity that was beyond what Earth's gravity naturally is. If you think I'm lying, go see when Yacha tried to go in there and try to think he can train under the same gravity pull as Vegeta. He
That
was
was the
literally crying for tears.
That was the Namek arc when they was flying that spaceship.
That was even no,
No,
that was
no,
after.
no, 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 no. That
That was
was the
after.
Namek. No, that
That
was
was,
after the first one where Goku did it first. Then that was after.
yeah, but Goku they would do it, but that was way after. That was you could probably say around Cell Saga around that time frame.
Yeah, Cell Saga. That was the Cell Saga. You're correct.
Around that time, neither around Cell Saga to Buu Saga, one or the other. But yeah, he literally walked in there. He was crying for mercy, hoping he can just hurry up and get to that machine, so that he can save himself. The gravity is a big major pull of how far you can go in training. So with that understanding and that pressure in that bounds, there's a reason why Vegeta trained under that massive amount of pressure, because it takes amount of pressure just to deal with raising the bar on Super Saiyan level. So notice that, and then also remember this: in the Buu Saga, there was a time I think one of Bobby's minions, he quote unquote teleported them to a different quote unquote planet. Why? Because the gravity was to his advantage per se.
Bingo.
And trying to find out, Vegeta was already well trained in that gravity level to the point to push that.
Bingo. So we'll discuss with the editor of the channel, see if we can do a show on Dragon Ball Dama, or also do a complete breakdown on multiple factors. While some people not fully understanding Dragon Balls, find to like it's supposed to be understand. But they're not nerds like us. You know, you must have failed in science class. That's why you didn't comprehend it. I called it out. So on that note, we will end tonight's show. And I hope that you guys understand what we're talking about, because we will break down a lot of anime to the science terminology and everything.
But before we go, let's not forget we got to mention some shows for the next upcoming shows.
Give it a lineup about what's going on for the rest of the week.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Oh man, I almost forgot.
I'm sorry, we were so deep into this conversation, it got us.
Right. So coming up tomorrow, we have the War of Generations, Bridge the Divide. That is on Thursday amongst you guys, and having that conversation. I might pop up.
And you never show up most of those type of show. We should be dodging the bullet.
Well, I haven't get a chance to really watch most of them, but yeah, we'll see what we got there. But hopefully, I mean, if I'm not too busy, which I might be busy tomorrow, but if I'm not too busy, I'll probably pop up. Right. Coming on Saturday, we have the bad trilogies versus good trilogy, analyzing the difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you got a trilogy movie that was quote unquote perfectio versus not so perfecto or somewhere in the middle, yeah, bring that in there. I would automatically throw this one out. Spider-Man. No, I was gonna say Spider-Man.
Bad.
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man. Now I know a lot of people have a lot of hate for the 3 because of how Venom looked, and pretty much how Venom looked. That was the main reason. But
what about a Matrix?
I mean, hey, there's a lot of movies we can touch. I'm just throwing one out there. I'm just throwing one out there for an example. I'm just throwing one. But yeah, we got that on Saturday. And of course, Sunday, if there is a show for Sunday, that will be announced in the future of this platform. As far as
Wednesday.
Yes, and next week's Wednesday, we got Space Battleship Yamato, A Journey Through the Stars. We got another space anime. Ain't this
another iconic one as well?
Pretty much.
So on that note, this is my co-host Wally. I am CBN Tech.
Oh, go ahead.
No, it is Wally, aka Welt.
AKA. No. I know. Lady Novoa been always asking me for this Spartan name. So yes, it is Wally, aka Thalos Fireborn. Yes, Thalos Fireborn.
And it is CBN Tech Talk, aka Black David, aka Bear Paws. Okay, ain't no Groot. Groot is for skinny midget. When I say bear paw, I'm a big ass dude with a lot of weight and power. No, I'm not like some big football. I don't play football. I play soccer. It's a different type of sport for a different breed of man. On that note, good night. Get some rest. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then,
peace out, everybody.